Fired up!
Fired up!
Fired up!
Fired up!
Wow, I tell you, I am some excited. You just don't know how I feel. You just don't know for the last 4 years what we have had to endure. And it's actually been now about 5. But since the election, it's been much more intensified. I was told last night, yesterday, or whenever it was, that I was now to be not just the welcomer, but to be the keynote speaker. And so, having had not the time to really sit down and try to really think of what I needed to say or what this would give me an opportunity to say, I just asked God to be with me. Give me what it is that He would have me to say. And as I was standing over there, that something came to mind. It said, we're all born ignorant, but we have to work hard to stay stupid. That's a job. You have to put forth an effort to stay stupid. And so ignorant just means that I am void of the information. I need to be enlightened through by information. So before we get started here, I want to say first I give honor to the Spirit of God, because without Him, of course, I wouldn't be here. None of us would be here. This program wouldn't be going on. I want to acknowledge and to thank the NAACP. Well, you got to give them a hand. Because I am a member, have been a member all of my adult life in NAACP. Am also a member of the founding few that founded this chapter. Served a couple of years as president of the collegiate chapter in NAACP. You may remember how the North we were bringing there. As a matter of fact, so much so that they ran me away from Northwestern. Had to go to Southern to graduate, but I had to go to well, that's another story. This means so much to me. I mean, you just don't know for what we go through. That guy does, in the black in the camera. He's in the office every day. We take the battle to, I don't want to necessarily say the enemy, but that spirit that we're fighting.
That's right.
You need to understand that this is not about flesh and blood. And I know that sometimes when you're talking to an audience, if you have not been born again, then it's going to be very, very difficult, if not utterly impossible, for you to understand what we're up against. I got up at 4 o'clock this morning and started to try to jot some notes down. So what I really, really want to do, President Johnson, don't want to take a long time, but I do want for folk to understand and to know, to gather some facts about what's going on at City Hall. Now, you don't get a chance to hear too much about the good things that we're doing, Dr. Louisiana. You don't get a chance to hear. You don't get a chance to hear about the hotel that's coming.
Come on now.
You don't get a chance to hear about the multi-millions of dollars of grants that we brought to the town, in that any period of time prior to ours that it would have taken 19 years of what we've done in 2. Yeah. You don't hear the story about when we get involved with things like Clean City, that we win state champion. You don't hear the story.
Come on now.
But see, that lady right there told me, at age 3 or 4, going over to Rundle during integration and all, that we had to be twice as good.
Yes.
That was just to be perceived as equal. There was a book that was written by Dick Gregory. Don't know how many of you may have read it or know it. It's called For Whites Only. Anybody read that?
Yeah.
For Whites Only.
Yeah.
And if you read it, you'll know that it talks about a mindset. And that mindset is that if you were to bake a chocolate cake, it's called a devil's food cake. If it's a white cake, it's an angel's food cake. It's all right to tell a little white lie, but to tell a black one ends you in prison for many years for called perjury. We need to understand that there's a mindset that we need to break. See, because we have a lot of folk who should be out here today, but they are wondering, trying to figure out whether or not we're innocent or not. I had a guy tell me the other day at the basketball game, And if he could conclude this, I think that you are too as well. He said, you know, after all the things they say that you have done, I was starting to believe those things. I heard them so much. He said, and then I stopped and I looked around and I thought, but after all these accusations, you still not in jail. There's something wrong with that picture. If we were guilty for having done anything, believe me, we would be in jail at this point. Now, we have some facts, and I wanted you to hear the facts, because a lot of you don't come to the office, and you are welcome at all and any time to come by to say, can you show me that, or public records, are they available? Can we get the first hand? You are welcome at any time to do that. But to stay out or to stay back and to depend on what we hear in the street sometimes cannot be in our best interest. Now, I want to share with you, there's two of the council members here today. I think they're over here somewhere. There's Stevie Calahan, who was the mayor pro temp on last year. I think Devin Flowers back here, who is the mayor pro temp this year. A lot of the fight, I came here 4 or 5 years ago. I remember walking into City Hall, knowing that there had never been anybody there my shade. I met with the toughest guy that I knew was going to be the toughest guy that I was going to have to contend with. I took him in one of the offices, and I said, listen, brother, I called his name, I said, I come in peace. I come in peace. I want for us to be able to work together for the greater good to help to move this town forward. That's my desire. I said, but if you choose not to agree or to work with me, I said, then choose your weapon. Choose your weapon. Because I am, and make no mistake about it, a political gladiator.
Yeah.
That's what I do. We fight for what's right.
Yeah.
We don't stand down to anything. We don't compromise. I heard somebody, I've been taking this for so long that I just asked one time, what's the problem? You know, what is the issue? Can I be that bad? Yeah. And then I heard it said by someone, the truth, the purer the truth, the greater the attack. I could have come into City Hall and started to compromise.
That's right.
One white guy said to me, he said, it's not necessarily that you're black. He said, I'm starting to think they just don't like you. And I think there was some validity to that, because I didn't come to compromise. I came to do what's in the best interest, not against any group of folk, not against white folk. We're not fighting white folk. We want for us all to be able to be prosperous and to move in the positive and good direction. I have to say this, Tony, we appreciate you.
Amen.
We appreciate you. Because, you know, I always thought at some point, Mom, I'd be famous. And I'm about there. I'm about there. I used to think, you know, that, you know, and Channel 10, I've been on the news so much. I mean, I've been on the news about, you got our recordings probably 2 times a month, every other week, more than the President of the United States of America. And I said, I can't be that bad. We can't be that tough. But I want you to understand that when, after 4 years of fighting the establishment, after 4 years of fighting, feeling like I'm by myself, God did something for us. He gave us a majority council.
That's what he did.
And for some of us, you may not understand what that meant. That was very significant. That now gave us the authority. It gave us the votes that we needed, and now we can actually move this town. Now, we as the black people have been so divided and taught that we ought to be divided. We've even had people to come to us to say that if you're not going to be divided, you ought to at least act like it. Black folk that's telling us, look, y'all just can't be together all the time. Now I say, why don't we set an example for the rest of our folks to let it be known what can be if we choose it to be. And that is when our trouble started. That's when our trouble started. Then, I want to give you what they say they have not gotten. Are you familiar with the number $385,122.69? Are you familiar with that? Have you not been told over and over and over again that the mayor has taken that money and that it's missing and that he stole it?
We heard it.
That's what my wife asked, but she said, well, where's the money? I want you to know that I have today, for anybody out here in the sound of my voice, that would like to see the evidence of the fact that the money was never missing in the first place. We have in the car, in the trunk, you can come by, stop by, we can bring it up here, but we have a copy of every check. A copy of every check that was written totaling that amount of money. They have known that from the very beginning. The sheriff came, investigated, they even raided our office, took all of our software, took all of the paperwork, they've even had the bank records seized. Now if you've had all of that, then you saw the same thing I can show you today. And you saw it months and months and months ago.
Talk to me, man.
But if we continue to propagandize, if we continue to put it on the news, we will defame his character to the point where his people will not support him.
Come on now.
You understand? It doesn't matter that now we have more blacks working than ever before. It doesn't matter that we have more opportunity than ever before. It doesn't matter now that when you walk in City Hall, you see more of us than you've ever seen before. But we got to just convince them that somehow he's a bad guy. And I say to you that if you will stay with me, you know I'll stay with you.
Yes, sir.
You know that. The other thing we went to court on, and I'm trying to give you some facts. We have about 3 or 4 different issues, and this makes the second one. We went to court because they said that we were operating on an unbalanced budget. Y'all hear that? Yes. An unbalanced budget. I'll tell you that we have that in the trunk too. We'll show you the budget. We'll show you that we were operating on a balanced budget for every year that I've been there. The budget has been balanced, and we've operated within that. Now, if you look at all of the administration before me, you'll find that their budgets have been overextended, $1 million more expenditures than revenues, but it's never been an issue. And not only did we operate within a balanced budget, they took us to court for 90 days to try to prove that somehow we were $200,000 short. And it all stemmed to the fact that Stephen Cottenham said that I am putting in this category $232,000, 300 and something. And he made, you got the number down, huh? He when they got to court, they said that no, he said 32,300. That's what they said, until they realized that the tape that they doctored up to bring to court, that we had the original tape in our office. And when they realized that we had the original tape, when we went to court the next day, the lawyer got up and said, well, Judge, I want to say to you, I want to let you know that my tape was faulty the other day. You can't get away with that. You can't get away with that. Now we go to court because I'm supposed to have pushed a counsel lady. I see y'all shaking y'all head. Y'all know I ain't pushed nobody, right? I did shake a hand, and I've been told that I got to be careful, stay clear of those kind of situations. I shook her hand. I said to her that we should not have to act like this in public. And when she started to shout and holler, get away from me, get away from me, I guess it gave the appearance to some that I was pushing her. But my lawyer told the sheriff, standing right there as they were arresting me, and said that there is no way that you can charge him for a battery charge without there being present the intent to do bodily harm.
That's the law, baby. That's the law.
You know what he said after he looked in the book? You're right. He said, you're right. He arrested me anyway, and I am arrested as we speak. We go to court on February the 6th. And I say to you, stay informed, if you could come, show support, that actually really does help when they see that somebody's out there, because I tell you and I tell everybody every chance I get, this is not about me. This is not about me. When I realized that they could raid my office, they could show no more respect to the mayor's office than raid my office without a warranted legal, what I call a warrant. And I said, if that doesn't trouble you, when they went to court the other day and the district attorney said that, yeah, we did that, and the judge said, well, what was the crime? And they said, well, we don't have a crime. It's in the transcript. We don't have a crime. We don't have a criminal. So you don't have probable cause. You don't have any reasonable ground, but you raid my office anyway? See, we got to be informed. I'm going to fight the fight. But I need for you to stand with me as we fight this fight. Are you going to stay with me? All right. I'm going to wrap up. I want to say, I know when I wanted to acknowledge my wife over there. She's on the phone, not listening to me at all. That's all right, but I love her. And I want to acknowledge her because she is my girl. She stands with me. She woke up one morning, I had to share this story. She woke up with a tear in her eye. And she said, I said, what's wrong? She said, I don't want to see you go to jail. Because here we are. We went to court the other day. I want you to get this. We went to court for what they call an unbalanced budget, which should have been considered a misdemeanor at work, at best. We came out with a felony charge. We came out with the judge saying not only did they not balance the budget, but they didn't do it knowingly and willingly. And I'm saying, in this country, we went to court for speeding and came out with a rape charge. In this country. And we are sitting back trying to figure out whether or not I'm innocent or not. We got to step up to the plate. I heard Tony say a while ago, if you're scared, say you're scared. If you're scared, say you're scared. Because the God that brought me said that if 2 or 3 would touch and agree. And so we walk in there every day, we have no fear, we show no fear. And I think maybe that might be the thing that bothers them the most. But this is not a race hatred meeting that we're having today. We came here just to share information. And I appreciate you listening to me.